morning, everybody. I am Vincent Devall with the Eagle Homes team here on the Eagles Nest podcast, powered by our friends at Coldwell Realty.
And of course, I'm Brad Brewer. Today, we're going to be diving into one of our favorite topics this time of year, and that's setting personal and professional goals for the new year.
Yeah. And, once again, it's that time of year. People start talking about, oh, this could be my year. This is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
But by March, things, fizzle off. Motivation's gone. So we want to talk about how to actually set those goals and then stick to them.
Exactly. We've put together 20 tips that have helped us, our team, stay consistent, grow our business, and keep our personal lives in balance as well, as hard as that can be sometimes.
Yeah, so let's kick it off with number one. Reflect on 2025 first, right? Reflect on what you're doing this year. You can't set a direction for 2026 if you haven't looked back and learned from, what just happened. The positives, the negatives, what worked, what didn't work.
Yeah. As I would say, you can't steer forward looking into a rearview mirror, but you need to take a glance back at it. Take time to look at what went well. Did you hit your production goals? Did you make time for your family? Where did things fall short? Again, both personally and professionally, and how can you realign those again?
Yeah, no, I think that's key. So, when I sit down to plan, I grab a notebook, pen and paper, and I put 3 columns down, right?
Okay.
So our wins, our challenges, and even the lessons that we've learned. That helps clarify things and what needs to change before I even start setting new goals for 2026.
All right, and that leads right into number 2. Clarify your why. Why are you setting that goal? Because do I want to make more money? Is that really ever enough? If it's what money does for you, security, experience, giving back, that keeps you going when things get tough.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Your why is the fuel. Without it, your motivation burns out by February, March. Your first quarter in, you're just like, oh, see you later. Oh, well, I missed it.
Our next one's it's a fun one. Choose a focus word or a theme for the year.
Yeah.
Last year, one of mine was consistent. Actually, I had 2. And this year, I'm just going down to the other one, which I'll share. I don't mind. Mine's do better.
Do better.
Just do better in everything.
Yeah. So what's crazy about do better? My daughter has a shirt that says do better. It's actually from 2016 when Joe Madden made all these shirts and sayings for his team, for the Chicago Cubs, and do better was one of them. So another one I like is try not to suck.
Yeah. My background in mine was one of the things my brother used to say to one of his friends constantly is just do better, and I thought it was great. I'm like, man, that just really works with a lot of stuff. So I kind of stole that one from him.
Yeah, mine was growth, personal, professional, and as a team. It gave me a filter to decide what was important, what to say yes or no to.
Yeah. Number 4, the balance, or number 4. Sorry, thought we got off track there for a second. Balance personal and professional goals. So many agents set business goals, but forget personal ones. You can hit your sales target, but be burned out or disconnected at home. To me, I'll just say this right now. I think I've flipped this. I used to be guilty of that. And I know like now everything's personal, and then what do I have to do business-wise to get to there? But how do I not lose track of what's important?
Right. And that's a big one. You can pour a lot of time. You can't pour from an empty cup, right? Mm-hmm. So when you set your personal life is aligned with your business, performs better. It's almost guaranteed. Like when you're happy at home, you strive and you drive better when it comes to your business.
Okay. Next one, this I love. I know this is something you do. This has been a phrase that I've learned since I've been in college, business, things like that, which is SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. But we like to add the 2 M's as well: meaningful and motivating, right?
Yeah. So let's say your goal is I want to sell 30 homes in 2026. That's definitely measurable and it's time bound, but it's not necessarily meaningful.
Right.
You'll lose interest when the market slows down. So you need to really make sure you kind of break that up.
Yeah. If that goal connects to something deeper, like funding your kids' college or buying an investment property, it's going to drive you harder.
Correct. Yeah, so true. And then number 6, set 3 to 5 core goals instead of 20, right? 3 to 5 core goals. People love making long lists in January, but spreading your focus too thin kills your drive, your progress, your motivation.
Yeah. Well, we tell our team, you can do anything, but not everything. Pick a few high impact goals. I think is the key, like growing your business by 20%, improving lead conversion, spending Sundays with family. One of the things I always learned that I learned by watching some other people fail, and I used to do this myself, is just even with that is, and then pick one, do
Right.
one really well first, then go to the next, then go to the next.
And we'll talk about that for a second. Is I think we have a lot of, I think we see a lot of people, try to put, reach into too many things, throw too many fishing lines in the water and hope they're all going to work, right? Maybe focus on 3 or 4 lead generations. Maybe you focus on 1 or 2 client appreciation events. Instead of saying I'm going to do one a month, you're going to be like, as soon as you miss one, you're going to forget about it. Like say, hey, I'm going to do one in the first 6 months. I'm going to do one in the second 6 months, and work on that goal throughout the year. But if you make that list too long or whatnot, you are just you're SOL. I'm not going to lie. Number 7, make your goals identity based. So don't say I want to work out more. Say I'm becoming the type of person who prioritizes health. Right. The shift from outcome to identity is powerful.
Yeah. And while Vince retrieves the mouse that's underneath the chair now,
Where'd it go?
I think it's right underneath. So Vince is gonna leave the camera. This is the beauty of live. If we haven't mentioned that, by the way, I will say, I'll add quickly to what Vince is saying as far as the identity base. You know, I think health is, to me, that's been a shift. I think that's got to be number one because everything revolves around. If you're there, he is. If you're healthy, I think it gives you a better chance of making decisions and doing things to help you be healthy for your family and all those other goals that you want to set.
Yeah.
Right. Um, Same with real estate. Don't say I want to close more deals. Say I'm the kind of agent who consistently follows up and adds value. That identity drives the behavior, right?
Yeah, yeah. And number 8, breaking big goals into quarterly milestones.
Mhm.
This says it's easy to get lost in the 12-month picture. Stretch instead. Divide your year up into quarters
Mhm.
and celebrate each checkpoint. So if it's 30 transactions in a year, maybe the first 3 months you only want to focus on 5 because it's slower.
Sure.
So break it up into realistic, achievable goals for each quarter.
It's like running a marathon. You don't think about the mile 26 when you're on mile 2.
Right.
That would probably be a definition of insanity in its own. You just focus on getting to that next marker, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And number 9, so make your goals visible. Write them down somewhere. Write them down. Put them somewhere where you'll see them daily. I keep mine on my desk and on my phone's background. So on the back of my phone's background, it has my 3 goals for the first quarter.
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking I'm gonna do a little something different. I like the phone back. I've done that.
I've done that one for our workout. That's where I first did it at.
Yeah, I've done that with the goals on the background. But I think I want to do something different. Is just put pictures of people in your background that are your motivators. Like
There you go.
I think to me, it's just I don't want to make it more about people and just things like that. So, but anything that gets you to remind you of your goals,
Right.
I think that's a great spot to put it because what are we looking at constantly in today's world, right?
Yeah.
I've even done the mirror at home. When you see it every day, it stays on top of mind, or something like posted to the side of your computer screen or something like that. Just somewhere where you see it every single day. That way, you know that you can constantly keep sight of that progress.
Yeah, and number 10, align your goals with your values and your vision. If your goals don't line up with your long-term vision, they'll always feel like a grind. They'll always feel like you're not getting to where you want to go.
Right. For example, if your long-term vision is freedom and family time, don't set that goal that keeps you chained to your phone 24/7.
Yeah.
Like I love just the times I love when the Apple phone, it tells you whether your screen time went up or down the week before. I love the weeks it says it went down.
Yeah.
Because that means like, all right, I was focused on something else potentially. Not always.
Golf. Golf is golfing more.
Golf sometimes, but
This last week it was very low screen time. And also like we're not just talking about like financial goals or closing deals. We're talking about like, those personal goals. Maybe it's your new personal goal is you don't reply to clients till 8 a.m. in the morning, and you shut your phone off at 8 p.m. at
Mhm.
night, and your phone goes in a basket when you sit down for family dinner, right? So it can be small goals like that that can help you stay focused on the bigger picture than
Mhm.
just the business. Now we're getting into action steps. Number 11, design habits, right? So
Right.
design that habit and not just outcome. So
Mhm.
like we just talked about, put your phone on this, or, make it a priority to call 10 past clients this month,
Mhm.
whatever it might be. Create design habits that are going to drive your outcomes.
Yeah. If you want to get more listings as an agent, your habit could be make 10 more prospecting calls a day. That habit builds results. The
Yep.
habits that come from the other actions you need to take will build results. So I'm a, you know, I've been talking to a couple of the other agents on our team about like how long does it take to build a habit, and once that habit's set, it's a lot easier to make it consistent, right?
And that's what we're talking about this today, November,
Mhm.
December instead of January, February, because those habits you can slowly roll them into
Mhm.
for this coming year. You can say, hey, I am not going to, answer a call after 9 p.m.
Yep.
because that's my time. Or, I am going to make sure that I make 5 calls this week because my goal's 10
Mhm.
come January. So slowly start working those in, and I would say also, don't build them all at once. Like, don't say, "Hey, I'm going to change these 12 habits this month,"
Mhm.
because it doesn't happen. And without those habits, those are what bridges intention to reality.
I love that. I love that phrase. The intention versus reality,
Yeah,
and the habits are definitely completely what get you there. Otherwise, it's not real, right?
yeah, right.
You're like you schedule showings, closings, and client calls. Why not schedule your workouts, learning time, family dinners? I did that yesterday. I woke up with a goal, and I'm like, I'm gonna go work out. I hadn't gotten groceries since I moved, so like I should probably go do these things.
Right, right.
And I also scheduled time to get a little bit of work in. And then I took the afternoon and did some just personal stuff, just things I guess kind of neglecting from. Not gonna lie, part of it was neglecting because well, the course closed this week, and we tried to squeeze an extra round or two in,
We
right?
did, we did.
But that's what happens this time of year, and we know that every year,
Right, right.
right?
Yeah, this is kind of crazy this time of year. Um, so
13.
Yeah. Number 13, set micro goals for that momentum.
Mhm.
Set small wins builds confidence. So like committing to one video post a week,
Mhm.
right? Or marketing instead of planning a huge event,
Mhm.
start with something small right away and build into those bigger things.
Mhm. Um, Small steps compound. Number 14 is track progress weekly. I do a quick Sunday night check in. What worked? What didn't? How should I change my schedule this week? One, I like doing that because I think it keeps it fresh. Because although I love habits,
Right.
doesn't necessarily mean you have to do the exact same thing every day, every week.
Yep.
Because I think it can get stale. So I love that freshness part.
Yeah. And that reflection keeps you grounded, right?
Mhm.
In number 15, you want to celebrate those milestones. You hit them, you reach them, you see them. Now let's celebrate them. Don't wait until you hit that big goal of, maybe $1 million in sales. Maybe you sold 4 units that month, but you didn't hit 1 million.
Mhm.
That's a huge celebration. Recognize that progress along the way.
Yeah, and that's something that we do it as a team. The lunches, the shout outs, team events. We want to keep that energy level, that camaraderie super high with our
Right.
team. And I know I've seen the reaction of our team. I think they appreciate it. They love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And, at number 16, expect setbacks.
Mhm.
Don't be surprised, if things aren't going perfect. In our business and in a lot of businesses, right, you have ups and downs. I mean, downtown Burlington's going to see some road closures in the upcoming year. That's a setback. How are they planning for it? How are they expecting that? The question not only is like, did you get the setback? How are you responding to that setback?
Yeah. This one's always like one for me. It just seems like you and I were talking this last week. Something seems to happen every year that just sets things back, and learning how to overcome that
Yep.
that shift. In the market shifted in 2023. A lot of agents froze, but the ones who adapted, learned new skills, stayed consistent, adjusted with the business and with the market, those agents came out stronger. And I think we're blessed because we have a lot of those in our team, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Number 17, find an accountability partner or coach. So that's huge. Having someone to check in on your goals, keep you honest. Maybe it's just, hey, how'd you do this week with your workouts? Or, hey, I know you said your goal was to make 10 prospecting calls. How'd you do? Right. And then you do that for somebody else as well.
Yeah.
Like it's not just, it's kind of a two-way street with those things.
Yeah, I used to meet with a coach twice a month. I don't do that anymore, but what I do have is I feel like I've got accountability partners, agents on our team, people in my personal life. This jerk next to me.
Someone's got to challenge him.
So those are just things that you want to find just different sources
Yep.
to when things happen that help you course correct. And accountability is just everything.
Yeah.
Really.
And number 18 is investing in yourself, in
Mhm.
self-development. Maybe it's taking a class, reading a book, attending a conference. Growth just doesn't happen by accident.
Mhm.
You need, help from others, people that are in the business that have done it for a long time. You personally can't find every solution to, how to run your business. So, you know, focus on others, find ways to have others help you.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it as like sharpen the saw, sharpen the tool. If you don't sharpen yourself, everything takes longer, right?
Yep, yep. Number 19, be flexible. Goals are guides, not handcuffs. It is. If priorities change, adapt, life change. Life happens. Shit happens, guys. Find a way to adapt to those goals.
That's one of my favorite bumper stickers.
Shit happens.
Yeah, so sometimes you realize mid-year that a goal just doesn't serve you anymore, and that's okay. I'm a big fan of did this with a couple of agents on our team. I did this with myself this year. I kind of went about mid-year. I was like, you know what? Some of this stuff, some of it just wasn't going to happen. Some of it just wasn't important anymore. So I just kind of reassessed and said, all right, how do I pivot?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then, number 20 is end 2026 with reflection and gratitude. So at the end of the year, don't just check off the boxes. Celebrate, what you did, how you did it. We do it as a team, through awards, recognition, things like that. But celebrate 2026, and reflect back on those wins.
Yeah, I that's one of my favorite things coming into. I'll start doing it now, and I'll really do that over the next coming into the holiday season. Is that reflection of like, all right, so a lot of things that didn't go well, but what did?
Yeah.
Like, what small wins did I have? What are those things that are going to just propel you? And I think gratitude is probably one of the best things. Is just have gratitude for what did work, and it reminds you how far you've come, but yet also motivate you how far you got to how far you have to go.
Right, right. So there you have it. 20 ways to set goals that actually stick for 2026.
Yeah, if you take one thing from this episode, let it be this: just set goals, build the habits and systems to live them.
Yeah.
That I think a big takeaway. I know I'm going to take it to head into next year.
Yeah, and remember, success isn't just about numbers or sales. It's about becoming the kind of person who shows up every day with a purpose in life.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better. Thanks for tuning in to the Eagles Nest podcast with the Eagle Homes team. Again, we are brokered by Coldwell Banker.
Yeah, if you find this helpful, share with friends, teammates, family, and let us know what your 2026 goals are. We'd love to cheer you on.
Until next time, stay focused. We'll see you later.
Thanks. Bye, guys.